So from text number 10 up to 76 and examining the definitions, whether their definitions are proper definitions. The tradition has prepared definition of a definition, lakshana, and the thing to be defined, what you want to define, is called lakshya. Lakshana is said to be dharma. Now dharma, by now you are familiar with the term. Dharma means attribute or property or feature, nothing to do with religion. So dharma is some feature, some attribute, some property. In terms of those properties, we have to define. So, we say asadharana dharma. Asadharana dharma lakshanam. Dharma lakshanam. A property is what is to be treated as a definition. An attribute or a bundle of attributes, whatever may be the case, may be treated as definition. How that attribute should be uncommon. Sadharana is common. Asadharana is uncommon. Peculiar, which is to be found only there and nowhere else. If I want to define a book, let us say, so the attribute that I will identify as a definition should be present only in the book and not in any other thing. Then only I can say that I have defined book. Is not so? So that peculiar property, asadharana dharma, is the peculiar property, distinguishing feature. Start thinking this way, that why do you need a definition? Why do you need to define something? You want to understand what that object is. Why do you want to know that object in that way? You will be able to refer to it exactly. Number one. And you will be in a position to distinguish it from all that what it is not. So, vyavahara and vyavritti. Vyavritti means exclusion. you will be able to exclude all that is. So, if you want to have a definition of a book, through that definition, I shall be able to refer to the book, number one, Vyavahara, and I should be in a position to exclude all those which are not book. So, Vyavrittihi Vyavaharo va Lakshanasya Prayojanam. Prayojan is purpose. So, the purpose of a definition is to exclude and to facilitate reference to that which is defined. Vyavritti is exclusion. So, the purpose of a definition is to exclude all that which is not that thing, that object, and identify what has been defined. And you can refer to that in an unmistaken way. And that lakshana should be a dharma. This lakshana has to be a dharma. Which dharma? A peculiar dharma, uncommon dharma, unique dharma, not found anywhere. If it is found anywhere, then that cannot be it. I cannot identify, then I can also say this, and I can also say that. So, asadharana dharma lakshanam. These are coming from I am representing a tradition. So, everywhere, anywhere in the text you may find, in the commentaries, but exactly which is the original source, I don't remember. I have received them in my tradition. This is the problem with us. We are not very particular about the source. Maybe now you can identify. You find it and you tell me, I will note it down. So, you are with me? So, asadharana dharma lakshanam. Now, let us clarify a little more this. What should we exactly, what does it mean? Asadharana, peculiar, uncommon. Kim nama asadharana, asadharanatvam. What should we take this to mean? And that has been further elaborated, clarified. It means lakshyata. Now the Navinyaya language is coming. I was trying to avoid, but now at some point of time I should introduce it. But it is not difficult, you will understand it. लक्ष्यता अवच्छेदक समनियतत्वम asadharanatvam. What should we understand by the term asadharana? Peculiar, uncommon, has been clarified. So we have to understand this clarification. Now you can see here the term lakshya has been used, right? So now you know what lakshya is. Lakshya is that which is going to be defined. Okay. One more term is used, I will take up further. For the time being, you samaniyata, let us understand it, co-extensive. Take this. Co-extensive. So a dharma, a property, that property should be treated as peculiar, uncommon, which is coextensive with so I know I need a little more elaboration, then you will understand, otherwise you will not understand. Okay. Let me give an example first, then we will go to that. Okay. So let us define cow, go. The traditional example. We want to define cow, go. Now, the definition given is sasnadi matvam. This is the dharma. Now, you know that the cows have this dual they lose. So, the tradition from very beginning has been defining cow in this way. So, maybe it must be very peculiar in the cows. Now, the biologist should say that, how far they are correct or not, whatever may be. But this is the property, this is the attribute which is to be taken as a definition of cow. So, shasnadi matvam gotvam. What is a cow? That which has got cowness. What is that cowness? That sasnadi matva, the attribute of having, matva is having, possessing, develop. Now, let us say that this is the lakshya, no? So, lakshya is where it is? Go. Go is lakshya. So, if go is lakshya, then now step by step you follow me. I say it is go. On what account? We have done this exercise by now. We know this. Then it must have gotva. I call it is a pain. On what ground? It has painness. So when I say it is go, then it should have gotva. I think. the cow is being defined. So it should be called Lakshya, this name. So cow means it should have Gotva, right? This is here, and I am calling it by name Lakshya. Now you can see, for a teacher to communicate something with which you are not at all familiar. So I am preparing Navyanya. Yesterday I talked about developing a language, a language for precise communication. That was the job of Navyanyaya. So what he is doing, they are doing. You see, the cow is cow all along. The cow will exist on this planet. Okay, it will be called cow. But it will not be Lakshya all through, no? Do you understand this? When I am going to define, then only it becomes Lakshya. These two things you differentiate. Cow is a cow all along. So the cow will have Gotva all along. Right? But cow is not going to be Lakshya all along, because every time you are not going to define. When you take up the activity of definition, defining, then you are going to call it Lakshya, no? But Navyanyayika said that whatever may be the case, the moment you give a name, it requires a property, an attribute, a dharma, and on the basis of only when we are going to call the cow a Lakshya, the moment we want to give a name, when language should operate, it should have dharma dharmi bhava. So it should have Lakshyata. So in terms of the property called Lakshyata, I call this go Lakshya. Correct? And in terms of the property Gotva, I call this go. Now why I do this is clear to you. Anytime and every time it is go. But anytime and every time it is not Lakshya. When it will be Lakshya? When I am going to define it. So when I am going to define it, I am going to give a name to it, Lakshya. Then it should have a property, a dharma. That dharma is not this dharma, because this dharma is responsible for calling it go. Now this dharma is required to call it Lakshya. This dharma is called Agantuka dharma. This dharma is called Agantuka dharma. It comes and goes. But Gotva will never do so. All along it will remain. If it goes, means cow is not there. So you see, this is Agantuka dharma. This is a contextual property. It is an acquired property. In the context of defining, this property has been assigned to it. So these two properties you should make to be clear. This is also dharma. This is also dharma. There is a difference between the two dharmas. What is the difference? This, on the basis of this dharma, I call it go, On the basis of this dharma, I call it Lakshya. Okay? Gotu will remain forever as long as the cow exists. But this is not going to remain forever. It is only when I am going to define it will be there. This thing is clear? Next point. You see, it is just mathematics and nothing else. You have to simply go step by step. As you do mathematics, so you have to do Nyaya. Now, again careful. Is it the case that I define only cow in this world? Do I define only cow? Anything I can define, no? I can define book, I can define duster, I can define pen, chair, table, fruit, flavor, anything I can define. But whatever I will define will be called Lakshya. Will not so? Whatever I will be going to define will get a name. What is the name? Lakshya. And if it is a Lakshya, then it will have Lakshyata. So Lakshyata will be not only in the cow, but all the things which I am going to define. Not at a time, don't worry. You see, till you do not learn mathematics, you are afraid of mathematics. But the moment you start understanding mathematics, this is nothing. Same thing is this. This is the first exposure to you. I am trying to make it accessible to you, that's all, to the best of my capacity. So Lakshyata is located not only in go, but can be located anywhere. Where? Lakshya. That means whatever I am going to define, anywhere it can exist. Now, I want to talk about the Lakshyata which is present only in go. What method should I adopt? Lakshyata can be in pustaka, in phala, in pushpa, whatever I am going to define it can be, no? Now I want to talk that Lakshyata of go. Then how to present this Lakshyata? Huh? Is it true? Then you said Gotu only. You said Gotu means identical with Gotwa. And now you say no. So, reflect. Don't be in a hurry.
Among the Gotwa properties, one which carries this Lakshata in relation to my Lakshata.
So, okay, you are coming closer. Now you see what the Navinaya is telling us, giving a method now, methodology. This Lakshata is here to say this. He is creating a language. Let us see how he creates. This Lakshata is Gotva Avachya. So, Lakshata will be in Phala, Lakshata will be in Pushpa, Lakshata will be in Pustaka. Huh? But I want to, so the, the locus of Lakshata is not restricted only to go. It can be anywhere. So, if it is anywhere, it is something like a cloth. Before preparing the shirt, it is a cloth. I cut the cloth in the size of my body. So, the body becomes the parameter along with which I cut the cloth. So, avachinna means cut into size. So, Lakshata has a very big area of existence. I want to cut into size to show that it exists only in the cow. So, I delimit. So, avachinna means delimited. Actually, these are the things which we are going to learn in the level 1, Navya language and methodology level 1. We teach this language there. So, this Lakshata is delimited by Gotva. You translate this? Here the Lakshata is delimited by Gotva. So, the Lakshata delimited by Gotva, can it be in Phala? If I am going to define Phala, then Phala is Lakshya. Phala has Lakshyata. And if I want to cut that Lakshata to say that that Lakshata is in Phala only, then I will say Phalatva avachinna Lakshata. That Lakshata will be only in Phala. This Lakshata is delimited by Gotva. So, this Lakshata will be only in the cow. So, by introducing the concept of avachedaka, a delimiter, the Naiyayikas are creating a language for precise communication. Now, you see that Lakshata can be anywhere. But if I want to talk of a Lakshata existing in the cow, then such a Lakshata I should call Gotva avachinna Lakshata. Now, this Gotva avachinna Lakshata cannot be anywhere other than the cow. See, because why tell me? Because Gotva does not exist anywhere other than go. Since Gotva does not exist anywhere other than the go, and if Gotva is the delimiter of the Lakshata, then Gotva avachinna Lakshata cannot exist anywhere other than the go. This was the purpose of Navya language. Now, it is precise or not? Had they not introduced this, simply they would have said Lakshata, then Lakshata would be anywhere. So, they specified it. So, I am talking of Lakshata which is in the cow. How is this Lakshata? This Lakshata is delimited by Gotva, Dharma. Gotva exists where? In go. So, I am talking of Lakshata which is in go. Okay? Now, now let us find out this asadharana dharma in go. And we have said that asadharana dharma in go is, Shasnadi. Shasna is that develop, they call it. Uh, what do you call it? Kannada might be some name. Uh, okay. বাংলায় কি বলেন? Guru. So this attribute now I have selected. In the cow, in the cow, which is I am going to define, I have identified a dharma. This is the dharma. By the way, Shasnadi Matva is only Shasnadi. For that also we have a Ganita. That we will not teach now. Just you remember this for the timing. This is the dharma. This is the dharma, and this dharma is asadharana dharma. Sasna is asadha, a unique feature of cow. All right. Now that it is asadharana dharma, let us test. Let us make a test that it is asadharana dharma. And for testing, I gave you that. I had given that. Lakshat. Now you will understand. You see. You have already written it. Lakshyata avachedaka samaniyata. Dharma will be asadharana dharma. So lakshyata avachedaka. What will be lakshyata avachedaka here? This is what you are. Nice. I feel so happy. Communicated. So gotva is avachedaka of this lakshyata. So lakshata avachedaka is gotva. Any sandeha? Any doubt? Lakshata avachedaka dharma is gotva. When I said gotva avachinna lakshata, then this is avachedaka. Lakshata is avachinna, delimited by this, no? So avachedaka is this. So this is avachedaka and this is avachinna. This is delimiter and that is delimited. So this is delimited and this is delimiter. This is delimited by a delimiter. So gotva is the delimiter. So lakshata avachedaka is gotva. And gotva samaniyata dharma. I should have. Samaniyata, that remains to be understood now. Okay, I will not torture you. So what I will do is, I will Samanya bhasha I will use. So let us have this kind. Say, test that this dharma is lakshata avachedaka samaniyata dharma is sasnadi. That we have to test. Do like this. Wherever there is lakshata avachedaka, write it like that. Wherever there is lakshata avachedaka, wherever there is lakshata avachedaka, there is sasnadi. That is asadharana dharma. That dharma, which you are going to call it asadharana. And wherever there is Sasnadi, there is Lakshata Avachedaka. If this is true, so if it is true that wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, there is that asadharana dharma, and wherever that dharma there is Lakshata Avachedaka, then such a dharma will be called Lakshata Avachedaka Samaniyata dharma. You have to write it and read this thrice, you will understand. Wherever there is, again I am telling, wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, two conditions you should see, whether they fulfill or not, whether this is both should be true. Wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, there is dharma, and wherever this dharma, there is Lakshata Avachedaka. Now we will test it here. Wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka is Gotva. Alright? So wherever there is Gotva, in all the cows, Gotva will be in all the cows. So wherever there will be Gotva, where? In all the cows, there will be this dharma, Sasnadi. True. Wherever there is Sasnadi, means where? There is Gotva. So both way it is true. Where this both way Vyapti, I will not go to confuse you further. We do it in Navinaya language. So, because you have not learnt it, so this much is sufficient for the time being. So wherever, so now, if this Sasnadi is X, dharma, that dharma which you are going to say as a definition, that dharma. Wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, there is X. And wherever there is X, there is Lakshata Avachedaka. So Lakshata So wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, there is X. And wherever there is X, there is Lakshata Avachedaka. If they are true, if this is true, then X is asadharana dharma. Then X is Lakshata Avachedaka Samaniyata dharma, means asadharana dharma. So wherever there is Lakshata Avachedaka, there is X. X is that dharma, the definition which you are going to propose. And wherever that dharma, if Lakshata Avachedaka is also there, then you can declare that this X is Lakshata Avachedaka Samaniyata. And this is the idea of asadharana. And therefore, this dharma will be called asadharana dharma. And asadharana dharma lakshanam. Too heavy? It's nothing, no. But we need little, because it for first time exposure, so you need to read it twice, thrice, to So now you can see yatra yatra. Now you write yatra yatra gotvam tatra tatra sasnadi matvam. That is sasnadi. Sasnadi matva is nothing but sasnadi. Sasnadi matva is equal to sasnadi. When you say kundalitva, means kundala. Gunitva, guna, like that. So sasnadi matva means sasnadi. This is the dharma. This dharma. So sasnadi matva is asadharana dharma. How to say? So yatra yatra gotvam tatra tatra sasnadi. Correct? Yatra yatra sasnadi tatra tatra gotvam. So both are true. Therefore, sasnadi is asadharana dharma. Sasnadi is asadharana dharma. And asadharana dharma is to be treated as definition, lakshana. So in case of any definition that you do, okay, anything you define, the ideal definition should be such. This is the main part of the concept of definition. So this is a definition of a definition. Asadharana dharmaha lakshanam is a definition of a definition. Concept of a definition. Definition means a peculiar dharma. What is the meaning of peculiarity? It means yatra yatra lakshata avachedaka tatra tatra, that dharma, and yatra yatra, that dharma, tatra tatra lakshata avachedaka. If both are satisfied to be true, then declare that that dharma is the definition of that thing to be defined. Is a general definition provided by Navinyaya of lakshana. So it is lakshanasya lakshanam. I told you, now do we have time? Okay, a little more. You can realize that such things should be learned slowly, with different examples, exercises, homework. Isn't it so? But we want to have everything in 10 days. But at least I will be happy. At least you, on the final day, you realize that this is a system worth knowing. If you come to this conclusion, my shrama is safala. That much only, because I know if I myself have spent so much time in understanding and learning it, how can I expect in 10 days you learn everything? Not possible. But at least you should have a glimpse. And this book is a wonderful book, I tell you, to introduce you to this exercise, Tarkasamgraha. Wonderful. So, hope you are reading the translation also. And also I have added some notes. I think these things you will find also in your notes. I have talked about, discussed about. I hope so. Is there? It is already there. So, this idea is clear. Anything that I will be defining, I will be searching the peculiar dharma. Yeah. He is helping you, but there is some problem. Okay, thank you so much.
Got an idea.
No, certainly he is helping you. So you have to identify feature in it. But that feature should be always with it. Ah, and nobody else should have that feature. Okay? So, it's okay. Now, immediately he pointed out that somebody else may wear the same. So, are you going to call him Ja? No. So, we are going the right, correct sir, perfectly okay. But this will not help.
But sir, if you go by name, for example, you say Professor William Jha,
Yeah.
that is a unique distinguishing feature.
Yeah.
Nobody else will do that. So that is the proper definition.
Name, okay. But now, you say, now, then please. We say something by a name, no? So, we are defining a referent. We are not defining name. So, referent we are defining. So, in the referent you should identify some dharma, on the basis of which you will call him Ja. Okay. So, that which will prompt you to call him is Ja. Property I want. Ja. Many way. Okay, so these are you practice then this. I want you to apply this idea. Okay. Now next item should be taken up. I will introduce, but I will continue in the afternoon. That means we will prepare a definition which should be free from three defects. Further testing now. Asadharana. So I will put another way. Asadharana is lakshata avachedaka samaniyata. We have seen. In another way now, you see that how this is asadharana. If it is asadharana dharma, peculiar dharma, unique dharma, then अव्याप्ति, अतिव्याप्ति, असंभव रूप दोषत्रय रहितत्वम asadharanatvam. Now, from another angle, I describe what is peculiar property. A peculiar property should be such, asadharana, such, which will be devoid of three defects, which will be devoid of doshatraya rahita, which will be, rahita is devoid of doshatraya, three defects. What are the three defects? One is abhyapti, other one is atibhyapti, and the other one is asambhava. Abhyapti is, you can translate it as a narrow application. Narrow application. The dharma that you have identified are applied not in all the members of that class, but in a few. Some are left without application. All have not been covered. Atibhyapti is a defect which applies to that which you are going to define, and also which you are not defining. So this is over application. So narrow application, over application, and if you are suggesting a definition, dharma, which is not applied in any case, it is asambhava rupa dosha. So non-application, narrow application, and over application, these three defects, rahita, devoid of these three defects, a dharma will be called asadharana dharma. So asadharana dharma is such a dharma, and it will match exactly the same thing. Lakshatavachedaka samaniyata dharma is further clarified by saying that such a dharma, which is lakshatavachedaka samaniyata dharma, has to be free from three defects. And the defects are narrow application, over application, and non application. So, initially I started saying that Lakshana is for which purpose? For identifying. Vyavahara, no? Vyavahara. Vyavahara is possible only if you can identify that which you have defined. And then only you can refer to that, no? So, Vyavahara. And Vyavritti. You must exclude everything that which is not defined. So, this is the purpose. So, keeping the purpose of definition in mind, you should choose asadharana dharma in such a way that that asadharana dharma is free from three defects: narrow application, over application, and non application. Now, keeping this in mind, now suppose if you simply define Professor Jha as this, Ativyapti will be, so it will be over application. You can see. So, yatra yatra jhatvam. Okay. Because jhatva will remain always in jhano. My teacher, Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, a great linguist of our country, the national professor, he told me that my derivation of my word should be adhyapaka. From adhyapaka, the word through prakrit and journey, I mean from Sanskrit, then through prakrit, avhat, then apabhramsha, and all that, it has come to Jha. Because you have so many titles like Vajhe, you have Vajhe. So there are two words, Upadhyaya and Adhyapaka. From Upadhyaya you will have Vajhe, Padhye. Okay? Because initial vowel cannot be dropped if it is from Upadhyaya. But in my case, the A is dropped. So he said that the linguistic rules will permit me to derive your title Jha from Adhyapaka and not from Upadhyaya. Earlier I was thinking that it is derived from Upadhyaya, but my teacher clarified that it cannot be linguistically possible. So it should be Adhyapaka. So perhaps I am doing the job. The name was given as the name. The parents gave me the name, and then tradition I am doing that. Anyway, you took some other topic for discussion. Anyway, so is it clear that asadharana dharma should be lakshana? Now I will be discussing abhyapti, ativyapti in the afternoon. These three defects I will, and I hope you will read the notes that I have given all this. So please read the notes and keep on reading the notes and translation. And so your understanding will be quicker and faster, and my target will be achieved. Now, suppose we are going to define this. So, this area we are going to define. this is what we are going to define. So this will be called what? Lakshya. So if I identify some dharma here as a definition of this, that definition, the dharma is asadharana dharma, we have to select. Now suppose we select some dharma, and that dharma is present here. And not present here. So this is Lakshya and this is Ekadesha. Ekadesha is a part of it. The whole is Lakshya and this is a part of that. So Lakshya Ekadesha. This does not exist. No? We should have a dharma which is a lakshana of the whole. But we have selected a dharma, suppose by chance, which is present in all here, but is not present this part. So this dharma is, can this dharma be called asadharana dharma? No. Though it is applicable in many cases, but in some cases it is not applicable. So it is suffering from a defect, and that defect is here avyapti. So this dharma is suffering from a defect, and that defect is called avyapti. So we will define avyapti. Lakshya Ekadesha Avrittitvam Avyapti. So Lakshya is the entire. This is a part of it, and where it is not present. So Lakshya Ekadesha Avrittitvam, it does not exist. So this dharma is suffering from a defect called avyapti. So Lakshya Ekadesha Avritti, which does not exist, not existent, the state of not being there. This is avyapti. So a dharma should be free from this dosha. Asadharana dharma, which is chosen as a lakshana, as a definition, should be free from this defect. What does it mean? It means that it should be applicable to all, and should not be that it is applicable in 80% cases and 20% cases not applicable. This will not do. similarly, say again, suppose this is what you want to define. So you have Lakshya, but it so happens, so you have chosen a dharma. The dharma is present in all, and also it goes applied here. What is this? Up to this is Lakshya, and this is Alakshya. This is Lakshya, this is to be defined. This is not to be defined. I am not preparing a Lakshana for this. I am preparing Lakshana for this. So it so happened that it applied in all cases. But it also applied in some cases which were not Lakshya. Again, so this dharma is present here and also present here. So this is again suffering from a defect, this dharma. And that dharma is ativyapti. So let us define. Lakshya and alakshya. Vrittitvam. Ativyapti. So vrittitva, it exists, the dharma exists in lakshya and also alakshya, that which exists here and also here, which is not lakshya. So this dharma cannot be treated as a lakshana because it is suffering from a defect called ativyapti. Avyapti is narrow application. Over application, over and now this is what is to be defined. So call it lakshya. Now you have a dharma which does not exist anywhere. The dharma is not present anywhere. So again, that dharma cannot be chosen as a sadharana dharma because that dharma is suffering from a defect called avyapti, asambhava. Asambhava, non-application. So how will you define? So lakshya matra, entire, lakshya matra avritti. Asambhava. So Lakshya matra means entire Lakshya. For entirety, the Sanskrit is used matra. So Lakshya matra means entire Lakshya, throughout Lakshya. So, sorry, Alakshya. Lakshya matra. Is that our concern? What is our concern? Focus. Only focus there. Okay? Yeah. Because it has gone. No? That is what I have to point out. In Adivyapti, it has gone in Alakshya. But it nowhere present in Lakshya. That has to be pointed out, no? You are preparing a definition for Lakshya, but nowhere it is present in Lakshya. It is blank. So it is asambhava. Clear? Let us take examples. So same go, continue. If you define cow as Kapila, Rupa, Vatvam. That animal which has got brown color, let us say, is a cow. Kapila, Rupa, Vatvam. So some cows are having brown color. So in some of them they will be applicable. But there are white cow. Will it apply? But that is also cow, no? So that is also Lakshya. So in Lakshya Ekadesha, like white cow, etc., this definition is not, this dharma is not applicable. So this dharma, if I say this is a dharma of, this is the Lakshana of go, this Lakshana is a defective Lakshana. What kind of defect is here? Abhyapti, the first variety. Alright? So this is, now for second, you see if you say Shringitvam, Gotvam, horns. So cows have horns, but Mahisha also has horns. So Mahisha also will become cow by this definition. So Lakshya is cow, Alakshya is Mahisha. This definition is applicable to here and also here. So this is suffering from a defect. Still you are not focusing. What is our Lakshya? Cow. Forget all other things now, no? you focus what is we are going to define. Other animals are we going to define? What is your problem? I don't know. There are many things which are common to all other animals. Not only this, there are four legs are there. I have given a dharma, pointing out a dharma, of the cows only. This dharma I am giving as a definition of cows, not giving as a definition of animal. So you have to be in that box only, Lakshya. But even within that box of cows, some are white. And there this is not applicable. So this dharma is suffering from a defect. That defect is abhyakti. Is it so? Is it clear now to you? So, now third variety. So, second variety is clear, that if you say that animal who has horns is called cow. You are giving definition of cow having horns. So only this box, cows, and looking at them and telling, oh, horns is the dharma. That dharma will define cow. But that dharma, of course, will cover cows, but will also go outside. So this will be lakshya, and it will also overlap, go somewhere else. So what was our lakshya? Cows. It has gone somewhere, alakshya. So it is ativyapti. So this way. Then the third one, eka shapha vatvam. Now you know the horse, shapha means hoof, H-O-O-F, hoof. Now the cows have got cloven hooves, separated in the middle, but horse does not have. But you are giving a definition, eka shaphavatvam, means uncloven hoof. One who has uncloven hoof is a cow. Will it apply to any cow? So, lakshya matra, lakshya is go. So, entire go class, this is not going to apply. So, this is a defective dharma. So, this dharma is defective, and hence this is suffering from a defect called asambhava. So, abhyapti, ativyapti, asambhava rupa, doshatraya, rahita dharma I should take. A dharma I should choose which is free from all the three types, these defects. And that dharma will be called asadharana dharma. And that asadharana dharma will be called lakshana. And such a dharma is sasnadi. So sasnadi is such a dharma which is free from these. They are exclusively found in the cows and not found anywhere. This is the idea of lakshana. So lakshana is asadharana dharma lakshanam. Kim nam asadharanatvam? one test the Nayayika gave you, Lakshata Avachedaka Samaniyatattvam. That way you test or see that Lakshana does not suffer from any of these three defects. So, free from these three defects, a dharma, you can propose as a definition of anything. I hope some idea has been generated about it. Read it more and more, think over more and more. Why did I bring this? Because from text number 10 up to text number 76, he is going to provide definitions. So we should have an idea, what is a definition? This is a definition.